your sister.
Hello everyone, and we are finally at the finale of this series, the very last video of the series where we just sit down and have a talk about the trip. If you couldn't tell by my roots, it has been 4 months since the trip, and here we are now filming it and ending it. I kind of did not want to film this video because it's just like, what is there for me to say? And then the video is like 1 hour long. It doesn't matter. But today we're gonna break it down in this video. You can see the title. It says I'm gonna be talking about my experience overall, but it's like y'all already saw that in the vlog, so it's like, why do I want to talk about this? That's why I wasn't gonna do it, but I was like, might as well just do a quick summary, whatever. That portion of it is gonna be kind of like the very last video of the Seoul trip, where I talked about my experience in Seoul as a whole. That part's gonna be like that, but then we're gonna have another part that's gonna be like the final video of the LA trip, where we just talk about some things that I forgot to mention within the daily vlog. So, and as you know, I will always be putting the timestamps for every topic, not every, but most of the topics that I talk about in this video in the description. You know, some people don't want to hear the whole thing. That's fine, but I want to say everything. The lighting is uneven. It's natural lighting. My windows over here. It don't matter. Anyways, before we get into it, actually, let me give you guys my life updates for the people who know me and love me. So my life updates since, I don't know, the trip. Traveling again. We will be doing it again. We will be going to Vietnam next year. I will not be daily vlogging though for that because, I don't know, people always say like you're gonna get mugged in Vietnam. When I was little though, I had a camera, I didn't get mugged, and I was a child. Isn't that like an easy person to mug? I don't know. Even so, my mom watches a bunch of Vietnam vloggers and they don't get mugged. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna be vlogging. Secondly, because, you know, I'm gonna be with my family, and I mean my family including my relatives who for 2 weeks, you know, maybe the whole trip, I don't know. And then I don't want you guys to just see me suffering every day, having to socialize with relatives, as every time I meet a new relative they're gonna fat shame me. You don't need to see that, and I don't need to document that. Also, we're going to Vietnam because, you know, my sister keeps watching TikToks and she's like, oh my god, so fun, I want to go to Vietnam. Even though, you know, the whole life we were like, no, we don't want to go to Vietnam anymore. After we went as kids, and my dad's always telling us, you know, why don't you guys go to Vietnam? You keep going to Japan, Korea, go to Vietnam. And I'm like, no, because I refuse to talk to relatives that my father makes me act like I've known them my whole life when I've only seen them for 1 month in my life. Anyways, you know, that doesn't matter. And yeah, so obviously since my dad's gonna be there, he's gonna be with us like most of the time, so it's like so awkward vlogging with my father there. We're not gonna vlog, daily vlog, but also, you know, since we are going to Vietnam and there's always a layover in Korea, I kept going to my sister, girl, then let's go to Korea too. Again. And at first she was like, no, like I got vacation days, I'm not wasting at Korea, and our dad's gonna yell at us because we're going to Vietnam and then Korea again. I'm like, no, I mean, we're already there, let's just go to Korea after. At the end she did cave in, mainly because she really got addicted to these colored contacts, so she wanted to go to buy more. But then afterwards she could buy them online a bunch, but still she's still down to go to Korea and we're having a fun time. But regardless, I might still do like a little vlog compilation of all the entire trip while we're there, like kind of how I did for the New York trip, but it's gonna be all filmed on my iPhone again, not on a vlogging camera. My next life update is, Tina, do you have a job yet? No, everyone, I am still unemployed. So yes, my sister is funding me again for that trip, including my father, which we will pay back. Y'all, once we have a job, I already paid my sister back for the New York trip. I did not pay half of my debt for the Japan trip yet, because I have no money, girl. And where is the job? Where are the job acceptances and opportunities? Because the thing is, y'all, my plan is to do an internship from now till Vietnam, because I can't get, you know, a full-time job and then all of a sudden I'm on vacation first year already, a few months after. So we'll see how that goes, unless I stay unemployed for life until after the trip and I have a full-time job. Unless I don't even get a damn full-time job. And you're like, Tina, why don't you try freelancing or something? And I'm like, I Anyways, 8 minutes of me talking about my life updates, it's enough. Let's get into the actual topic of the video. My experience traveling to Japan. Now, I'm just going to touch on a few points. I might not touch on everything. And if you watch the daily vlogs, you'll already know some of the things I'm going to say and extra things that I couldn't say in this video because I didn't remember them. The topics that I have here are from a DM that I had with one of y'all who were asking stuff about the Japan trip because they're going to Japan as well. So not one of y'all, two of y'all. So I'm literally just gonna read the points. Originally I wasn't gonna include this in the video, but I'm like, I already typed all this out for this person, might as well just talk about it in this video, you know, for the people who want a summary, whatever. So as you may or may not know, I went to Japan for, I don't know, 2 weeks, and then Korea for like 4 days. I don't remember. For this video, I'm gonna be talking mostly about my experience in Japan and then some Korea comparison, but you know, we mainly talked about our Korea experience in the other video already for that trip, not for this trip, because the experience was a little different in Korea this time around. So if you want to tune into that, go ahead. One thing about me is I'm not looking at that video anymore because you know what, the volume was way too high in that video, and everybody in comments, your guys is so deep. Are you a man? Girl, shut up, I don't care. Anyways, but yeah, my voice is deep originally, but it was very much deeper in there because the volume was way too high, bass boosted. It doesn't matter. Look, am I red? So this is gonna be a problem when I start a podcast. If I start a podcast, because where is that podcast? It's been 3 years. Anyways, let's get into it. So, as we're talking about my experience in Japan, the first topic that we are going to touch on is, was the month I went to a good month to go to? And to that I say, I don't know. I went in May. And you know what? I couldn't tell you because I can't compare. Like, I don't know what the weather is like in other days. I don't know what the festivities are like in other months, I mean. And I don't know how crowded it is in other months. It was super crowded there, though, anyways. And not even with just foreigners. Like, there were millions of foreigners, y'all. It was just always crowded, which I will talk to in another point, but we're not there yet. That would be for the culture shock topic if you want to go to that timestamp. For me personally, if we're going to be talking about dealing with heat or just weather in general, you know what, it was kind of crazy because sometimes it'd be cold as hell and then sometimes it'd be hot as hell, which was kind of crazy. Like, even in the morning sometimes it could be cold too, but most of the time it was like hot and then it would be cold during the night, but also rainy and cold. So I was a little shook. And as you guys know, if you tuned into the daily vlogs, is I packed really poorly. I had only one long pants. I was ugly as hell. I had no long sleeves at all. It was a struggle because it was cold, girl, but it was like whatever. And you know what? I don't know what happened because I feel like it was so hot, but I'm telling you, it was cold too. So I was like, why is this happening? But it was so hot during our last Korea trip in 2022. It was much hotter than this time around. And I was fatter during the last Korea trip. So that means I had like more blubber, right? But this time around, even though there was like these hot moments and, you know, my leg is a little bit skinnier, as you know, if you tune in because of the GYM membership, I had a heat rashes. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Because I did not have that before. And the intensity of walking or physical activity, wasn't it kind of the same? I have no idea. But I was like, what the hell? Because I have heat rashes. I don't know if you guys know what a heat rash is. I don't even know if that's the term. But, you know, growing up as a kid, I would sometimes have heat rashes on my elbow here. It's like a bunch of bumps that are like, that come from, I don't know, sweat or something. And I keep scratching them and turning heat rash. But during this trip, I had that behind both of my knees. So I was like, what the hell is going on? Because this never happened when we went to Korea. I don't know. Maybe it actually was much more hotter since it was in April and Korea was in September and I couldn't really tell. I don't know. But I had those and I've never ever in my life had heat rashes behind my knees before. So I was really shocked. I was really confused. I don't even think the physical activity was major other than when we went to the Naruto amusement park, which was like at the end. I already had the heat rash by then. But I was really confused and, you know, it never went away because it was just every day constantly walking outside in the heat. And you know what, I didn't even wear like long pants. I always wore a dress. It was like, why is this happening to me? I was really confused. But you know what, it did not go away during the trip and it did not go away when we came back to Toronto. Like, it was there for weeks still until I found the gem that was my Aveeno itch relief lotion thing. I don't know, it's outside, I'm too lazy to go get it. It's small, but it does justice. Like, I used that maybe 3 days and my heat rash gone. It was great. I loved it. If you want to see her, link in bio, Amazon storefront, where I have a list of my favorite travel items, and that heat rash thing is in there. So when I go to Vietnam, I'm definitely bringing that because I feel I'm going to sweat so much in Vietnam, girl. And not related to the weather, but related to my problems, is I had 2 blisters, which, again, I've never had a blister since, I don't know what, middle school. I had a blister on both my pinky toes, and I've never had a blister when I went to Korea either. And I genuinely, it has nothing to do with walking a bunch. Well, yeah, that is a factor, but I've walked a bunch before and I've never got a blister. But it has mostly to do because of my shoes that were too, I don't know, narrow, I guess. Like, I thought they were wide enough at first, but because I have hoka running shoes and it's fine. Like, it's not tight. And then I have these hoka slides, which I wore, that gave me the blisters. And it's like, I did not know my pinky toe was crushed into the shoe like that. Anyways, I do not recommend those shoes at all. Like, yeah, I did not have swollen feet. Yeah, I did not get my foot a seizure. But, you know, my toes are trapped in there. And also, I always had to wear socks with those shoes because if it's too hot, because, you know, it's kind of like rubbery, whatever, then it kind of gets, like, stuck to your foot as you're walking. And there's a huge red line on my foot. So, anyways, let's move on. The next point I have here is budgeting. We can just breeze past that because in the very first video, I already talked about how much we spent on the flight, blah, 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 blah. And also, I did not yet do the expenses list for how much we spent on food and shopping yet. Sorry, sister, because I have to pay my sister back, but I don't have money to pay her back yet. And I was like, you know what? Why don't... That's for another day. That's for another problem. Let's go quickly through. So, flight to Japan. Well, the flight to Japan was like $900. The flight from Korea to Canada was like $1,200, right? And the flight from Japan to Korea was 200? No, maybe a bit more than that. I don't remember. And these are Canadian prices, not USD. Anyways, moving on. Our train from Tokyo to Osaka, around 100. No, we did not get a JR pass because we're only going from Tokyo to Osaka once. We're not going to a bunch of cities, so we don't need a JR pass. Our Tokyo hotel was around 750 Canadian. Our Osaka hotel was around 330 Canadian. Tokyo was 1 person, 8 nights, a double bed. Osaka was a twin bed, 1 person, 4 nights. Our tickets for things like amusement parks and museums, etc., totaled to $600 for 1 person, including like express pass to Universals and like Disney Sea and Naruto, etc., and Hello Kitty. Yeah. And again, I did not budget the shopping and food yet, so we don't know how much it is. I'm just gonna guess shopping's around 500 Canadian, and that's in Japan, because in Korea, that's where I spend most of my shopping, so that might be closer to 1,000. I don't know. And for food, let's just say 500 to 1,000 Canadian. Okay, now let me tell y'all about network. So me and my sister, communication network. Is that what it's called? Service providers. Telecommunications. This time around, my sister and I, we did not seek a network provider within Japan because, as you know, when we went to Korea last year, when we arrived to the airport, we went straight to a network provider that we already bought our SIM cards from online, and then we just picked up our SIM cards there when it was at the airport. This time around, we just did an eSIM from this app called Airalo, because, you know, it just saves us the hassle of having to go and pick up a SIM or Wi-Fi egg thing from the airport. And also, last time when we got a physical SIM from Korea, as we were flying home, I lost my SIM, my actual SIM, my Canadian SIM. So I had to buy new ones, only $10, whatever. But, you know, it was just too much of a hassle because, you know, you have to place it somewhere and then you need that. It was just too much work. This time around, my sister and I, we aren't really picky about phone plans, like whatever, plus or minus $5, like whatever, let's just buy it. And we don't care if we have like call minutes or texting, because, you know, if we have like unlimited data, then that's like good enough, right? Or we can just FaceTime or whatever. But either way, my sister and I did not call each other at all while we were out there, I think. We just text. So what we did was buy an eSIM from the app Airalo, which we had experience with before when we went to New York. You know what? That's just so much easier because we can just buy on your phone and then it gives you directions on how to install and activate the eSIM when you're ready to. The eSIM I bought on Airalo when we were in Japan, I believe, might have been the 20 gigabyte one for 30 days, and it cost $26, I believe. you know, it's always all up to your taste, girl, but I'm just telling you that's what I did. Anyways, moving on to the next topic. This is gonna be a fast topic, but it's basically about how we book things. For this trip, a lot of the things were booked by my sister herself, so I cannot tell you the full detailed process, but it's pretty simple. For all the amusement parks that we went to, we just book them online, and then we have our ticket, we go. We never bought the ticket at the actual attraction, because, you know, we have to line up for that, and it could be, like, sold out, or, you know, reach full capacity, or too many people there, like, whatever. And for our flights and hotels, we always book them directly through the provider, whatever the brand's website. We never use like a travel agency or like an app that will find the deals, like whatever. Let's just get this done. Listen, we just want to get things done. Like, we don't want to be stressing about, you know, having to save $5 off of something because we did something in person or whatever. So if you're like, Tina, what kind of choices are these? Like, you could have saved so much money. Girl, do you, and I'll do me. Like, listen, I'm just telling you guys what I did. Anyways, that's all I had to say about that topic. Let's move on. Now, let's talk about our airplane sitch, our hotel situation. As you know, if you tune into the daily vlogs, we made a change this time. Usually when we fly airplane, we sit right next to each other. Usually my sister sacrificed herself in the middle because, you know, she's the skinny one, I'm the fat one, so I'm always like on the edge. But this time around, you know, we were like, why are we doing this to ourselves? Like, and it's not like we even like have full conversations beside each other. It's not even like, you know, we're watching a movie together on the same screen. It's like, we do not have to sit side by side like this. As you know, this time around, instead, my sister and I both sat on an aisle seat. So I was sitting in the middle right aisle seat, and my sister was sitting on the right aisle seat. So we're still beside each other. There's just a aisle in between us, and you know what, that's fine. Like, at least nobody's in the middle seat. It's better that way. But as we were flying there, as you may know, we had a huge delay, so there was a ton of people who weren't in that flight. So literally my sister's 3 people, it was all full. For me, however, 2 people beside me, not even there. So my sister literally moved to my row, and then we have an empty seat right between us. That was a good time. The only thing about that flight that really shook us was the fact that there was this turbulence that I've never experienced before. We were really going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Not even up and down, up and down. It was like we're falling down and then falling down. And it was a little crazy, but at the moment, like, what can we do? But people are saying that's normal. But it only happened for like a few minutes. But still, we were shook. Like, it literally felt like when we're doing a drop from a roller coaster and our ass will literally fly off the seats. I was shook. I don't really remember that experience now though, so you know what, at least we made it out. We're here. This time around though, I remember last time when we were flying, like, our socks got so yellow. Like, what the hell, we had athlete's wear or something. And it stank so bad. But this time around, like, our socks were fine. Like, I don't know, maybe we didn't sweat that much in the feet or something. So, thank God, because that smell was horrendous. Like, I was kind of preparing for that. That doesn't matter. Let's move on. Let's talk about our hotel situation. As you guys know, my sister and I, this time around, we had a hotel each for us. Luckily, you know, we're safe. I was fine with both hotel situations. You know, hotel is always just a new and experience that I don't want to experience sometimes. Like, I don't know about you guys. Sometimes you watch people travel and they're like, oh my gosh, look at this beautiful hotel. Like, I love this hotel, whatever. I'm just there to lie down and rejuvenate, right? But the thing with hotels is I'm scared, and not necessarily just because of, you know, like someone breaking in, whatever, this is at my place, and maybe there's a hidden camera. To be honest, I'm too tired to think about that when I walked the whole day. But it's like, I want to be comfortable in a place that, you know, I'm not, like, I'm a little scared, like, if there's a stain here, it's gonna keep me up. It doesn't keep me up at night, but I'm a little scared, like, every time they make my bed, I'm like, please let me come back to a new blanket that doesn't have a stain on it. That's why sometimes I feel like if I could, I would opt out of like room cleaning in which they replaced like our blankets and towels and stuff, because I just want to stay with the blanket and the towel that I'm already comfortable with, and I already checked and it's like, yeah, there's no stains, whatever, there's no defects with this. And then if they switch it out for a new one, I have to fully embrace myself to check it again and see if there's any stains or whatever. Like, it scares me. The Tokyo hotel did that. Like, they didn't have everyday room cleaning service, like deep room cleaning. They only had room cleaning for changing the towels and throwing out your garbage if you put the magnet sign on your door. So I don't know if you guys go to my Tokyo hotel, maybe you won't like that. which was Tokyo Stay Shinjuku East. My sister, however, she had a terrible experience in her first hotel room because, as you know, we did not have the same hotel rooms. So in the Tokyo hotel, she was like, there's like a bunch of stains on her bed, and she was like a little scared, dreading it, and she was waiting for the day of the hotel to do the deep room cleaning where they switch everything out, which we only get for that Tokyo hotel, we only get one day of changing our beds and stuff if you have a long-term stay. So I think they do that on like the 7th day or something. Otherwise, you would have to pay a cleaning fee for that. So just so you know, because I've never seen that happen before in other hotel rooms. My sister also was scared of using her washroom because she always smelled like a poop smell or something, like a sewage smell, I guess. At the time we didn't know what it was, but I was like, you know, I don't think it's like there's some poop stain or somewhere on your wall. Like I genuinely thought that it was just me because I was on the floor above her, like directly above her, and I genuinely just thought it was just me like taking shit every day. And maybe the smell just traveled. That's all I had to say about the hotel and airplane situation. To be honest, I think the worst thing about traveling is the airplane. Just like the airport process, the airplane process, and then the hotel. Just because the airport process, obviously, stressful. Like, let's just get it done. The airplane, so damn long. My back hurts. My back kills. And then the hotel, it's like, you know, this isn't my home. I want to be at home sometimes. And also, for both of our hotels, we never had a problem with like any language barriers or anything like that. The hotel overall, it was pretty nice, especially Japanese hotels, since they always have like vending machines. I love the vending machines, girl. I was buying drinks for days. But overall, it was a good process, I guess. And now let's move on to our next topic: public transportation. As you know, navigation genius. public transit navigation genius. As I say, yes, I'm just exaggerating, but sometimes I do genuinely believe that. For the entire trip, we just use Google Maps, and that's in Japan. Obviously, in Korea, we use neighbor maps. But for the entire trip, we just use Google Maps. Google Maps told us everything, girl. We just followed that. That's all I have to say. And Google Maps is a good time because, as you know, we can just type in English. We can find it easy. Neighbor maps, sometimes it's like written in like Konglish, I guess. Sometimes I feel like I just master neighbor maps. Even though you may struggle at first, at the end of the day, I feel like I can find it right away. And it's not like we're going to like really complicated places. I don't know, neighbor maps is a fun time for me. Because I do see a lot of people on TikTok say that Google Maps work in Korea as well. Never tried it. Kakao Maps, I did not want to use her. I tried her a bit. I didn't really like her interface. I like neighbor maps interface better. Honestly, Google Maps, neighbor maps, good enough. Like, we don't need anything else. Like, there's apps for, like, the train routes. We didn't really need that app with the train routes because I feel like neighbor maps tells us it anyways, right? He's home? Come in. It's time to eat dinner. Just say Jollibees. ASMR. Anyways, where were we? Back to transportation. Now, transportation, as I told you, is pretty easy. Let's talk about transportation from the airport to the airport, blah, blah, blah. Transportation to the airport, easy. As you know, we had a huge delay flying from Canada to Tokyo, so it was a little scary at first because it was like nighttime. It was like, oh my god, we had to figure out how to get to our hotel during the night. But it was super easy. We just got out, we got our suitcase, we got to this part where there are like airport buses, so we went to a self-serve. And we were kind of looking at which of the stops was the closest to our hotel. And the self-serve airport bus thing, it was like sorted by district. So we saw a Shinjuku one, I think. And there was like a bunch of Shinjuku options. We chose the one that was like near a station. In a station. There was one that would drop us off near the station, like on the street. And there was one that would drop us off in the station. And we chose the in the station one, I believe. Which, when we were there, we were like, oh damn, we should have chose the one that was in front of the station because it was a struggle to get out of that station. Then we arrived there like, I don't know, 12 a.m. or something. And we had to walk from the station to our hotel with our luggage for like 10 minutes ish. The bus stops are super close. Like, they're literally like in front of us, across the street, whatever. But like the major station to us, I think it was Shinjuku Station or something, was like a 10-minute walk away. But there's also other smaller stations that were super close to us too. But yeah, so that was that. The transportation for that was that. And then the transportation for us from Tokyo to Osaka, and to be honest, I think all hotels in Tokyo or Japan do this because I always see this on TikTok, but our Tokyo allowed us to hand off our suitcases to them so they could ship it to our Osaka hotel directly. the day before we go to Osaka. So I believe it was like before 4 p.m. The day before 4 p.m. was when we had to give them our suitcases. And it totaled to around 100, I want to say. I don't remember, maybe $90-ish for 2 suitcases and 1 carry-on. So that's what we did. So, we were free of the suitcases. So that was a really good time because dragging the suitcases around, it's just tiring, So our transportation from Tokyo to Osaka was also a pretty easy time. I don't remember what station we went to. Shibuya station? I don't remember. The closest JR rail station to us was where we went to. And we bought that ticket a day before because the day before we saw like a lot of seats were taken. And that's what our concierge lady told us. Is that a term? When she was taking our suitcases, she was like, you have to buy your ticket to Osaka today because they sell out fast or whatever. Like they sell out on the day of. I don't remember how long it was, maybe 3 hours or something. I think we took a train, but we arrived to our hotel eventually. And our hotel had like a bus stop on the street right beside us. They had a train station literally right in front of us. So it was a good time. We showed up to our hotel and our luggage was already in our hotel rooms. And this time around, our hotel rooms were next to each other and not on top. Because you know what? For our Tokyo hotel, since they're like on top of each other, and this is the only hotel that actually did it, but you need a key card. And you put your key card in the elevator, like you tap your key card in the elevator and it automatically takes you to your floor. You can't click on any other floor other than like lobby because they're like, you don't have access. So that's why it was kind of hard for me and my sisters to visit each other unless, we meet at the lobby and then we go up together to whoever's room we're trying to go to. But this time around, me and my sister right beside each other. It was easy, especially since, I had to film her hauls. Then our plane going to Korea from Japan. When we were going to the airport in Osaka, what we did was, we kind of struggled bringing our suitcases down the stairs and up the stairs, whatever. We took a train to another station that had airport buses. I don't remember what the station was, but yeah. Then we got to the airport bus. We bought our airport bus tickets, got in, and we're at the airport. What tricked us, though, was on the ticket for Jeju Air, it said Terminal 1. And I don't know, maybe they meant Terminal 1 for when we're in Korea. I have no idea. But it said Terminal 1, so we thought that was Terminal 1 for the whatever airport it was for Osaka. Like, when we were on the bus, well, like, we already bought Terminal 1 tickets, like, we can't do anything. But when we were on the bus, I literally saw, it was either on a paper or on the TV screen, but it was, like, it was saying Terminal 1, and then it had all the airlines, and it said Terminal 2, and I saw Jeju Air. I'm like, ooh. When we made it to Terminal 1, we actually had to go to Terminal 2. So we just took we walked to a shuttle bus, and it was for free, and then went straight to Terminal 2, finished. So we were there. When we were there, we did encounter a problem because, we're taking a smaller airline, and we're going on a smaller trip. So they did have a lot of limits for what we could bring, I believe. So our bag was overweight. Our transportation from Korea to Canada, last time we did an airport bus. This time we were going to do airport bus as well, but it was raining. We had 3 huge suitcases, which wasn't new, but still we had 3 huge suitcases and a carry-on. For this day, we were planning on shopping around Myeongdong Street since, we're already there. As we leave our suitcases at the hotel, since they can hold it for us in the lobby. But it was raining, so we didn't end up doing that. Instead, we ended up calling a taxi. The hotel concierge called a taxi for us. They called us a jumbo taxi, as you saw, and I felt like a super rich person in this big-ass taxi. And it drove us to Incheon Airport. Finish. And we asked the concierge lady, do they take credit card? And she was like, yeah. But when we got there and the dude told us our price, which was like over 100, kind of, he was like, my sister was gonna pay with her Amex or whatever, and he was like, oh no, cash. And she's like, oh, card isn't okay, because we didn't have any cash. Like, we were telling him, girl, we didn't have any cash. And he took it eventually. I don't know, maybe because there's fees or something if you take cards, but he wasn't having it. He wanted cash, but we didn't have cash, so we just took our card. Anyways, and that was that. We made it to the airport, finished. That was our transportation process topic. We could have also talked about our day trip to Busan. Kind of the same of us going to Tokyo and Osaka, and same of me going from Seoul to Gangneung when I went to the BTS bus stop. We just take a bullet train, fast, easy. Anyways, I'm not going to go more into what we experienced in a transportation to Busan, because that's in the vlog already. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Let's talk about money again. As you know, I already talked about our budgeting and expenses. Let's talk about this time currency exchange. Now, I feel like I prioritize conveniency more than what's the best deal, especially if it's only like a few $10 difference, whatever. Like, I don't want to, like, I'm just gonna pay extra so I don't have to have this stress. I never exchange my money in the country I go to. Like, I don't exchange the airport. I don't seek currency exchange place. I just exchange it with my bank, with my branch in Canada, finish, because I don't want to have to go through this. So that's what I did this time around again. I got 90,000 yen, which is around 900 Canadian, and 300,000 won, which is around $300, maybe 200, I don't remember. And listen, y'all, that was too much. For my yen, at least, my won are all gone. I used them all in Korea. My yen, I probably had like half of them left. Like, girl, I did not need that much. As you know, we always pay in credit card. We can pay in credit card. Like, might as well stack up the points as we're there. Like, they don't even charge us a fee too. But with that said, it is important to have cash on you for like street vendors, for the arcade, for vending machines, etc. And as I mentioned in one of the vlogs, I got mixed bills. So there are a bunch of big bills and there are a bunch of small bills. Personally, next time if I ever go back to Japan, I will only get small bill, mainly $10, because even if you make a big purchase, girl, just add up the $10. Add up the $10. Because a lot of like the coin exchange, like at the arcade, it mainly just takes $10 to exchange for coins to play the arcade games. And for vending machines, like, you can most of them only take coins and $10. Or they only take coins, but there's a machine right beside it where you can exchange $10 per coins. That's that. That's all I had to say. And now on to our last topic for my experience in Japan and Korea, which is culture shock. I talked about culture shock in my experience in Korea video, my first time in Korea. I also talked about being fat. I don't feel like talking about it here because, to be honest, like, what's new? And it wasn't even that bad this time around. Even for like amusement parks, I fit most of them. Disney Sea, I fit all of the ones we went to. Universal, there was one I couldn't fit. But it wasn't as embarrassing as it was in Korea when they declined me. This time around, you know, it was a nice lady. We were in private. Like, she just told me, finish, done. We did testing in private, even though there was 3 people hanging out there. I don't know why, but whatever. And then there was a Naruto amusement park. I remember somebody in Google reviews were like, this might not be fat friendly, tall friendly. But as you saw in the Naruto amusement park vlog, I was fine. You know, I was doing these obstacle courses. I got through it easy. And as you guys saw, there were some hacks that we did for the obstacle courses. So it was fine at the end of the day. I just said I didn't want to talk about being fat, and then I talked about it for like 2 minutes. Anyways, back to the culture shock topic. The culture shock this time around, it was not that bad. Probably because we kind of broke it when we went to Korea in the first place. Now, in my experience to Korea trip, I don't know if things were just heightened then, or because we already experienced all that, so we were just more comfortable this time around this trip. But I don't know, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad this time around. Like, yeah, sometimes it can be awkward coming in and whatever. I don't know, it was like super less awkward this time around, super more comfortable this time around. I felt like maybe just because we're used to it or something, or I can't remember. Because for the first trip, like, I could remember how, like, embarrassing moments, whatever. This time around, there's nothing really triggering me. There's nothing really lingering in my mind about, oh my god, this was so fucking embarrassing. Because we already experienced that super awkwardness in Korea. So this time around, we went to Japan and Korea. It was fine. I think mainly because during that time was like the lingering aftermath of like COVID lockdowns and whatever. This time around, however, well, in Korea, because I've never been to Japan last year, but in Korea, I don't know if it's major, but there was a lot more foreigners. And also, it felt like the communication was so much more different compared to last time. Like, I felt like, well, to be honest, we didn't really talk that much to people, but I don't know, this time around I never experienced a granny coming up to me and asking me for directions in Korean. I have to tell her I don't know Korean. And this time around also, I don't remember anyone at all asking us if we need a bag in Korean. Like, they just gave us a bag already. Well, for me at least. I don't know about my sister while she's clothing shopping, but it was fine. In Japan also, like, the amount of foreigners there is high. Like, literally sometimes in some areas it felt like more foreigners than locals there. I was shocked, like, especially in Shibuya Crossing Way, I think. I don't remember. And especially in that one anime district, there's like a bunch of foreigners. The only place that didn't have much foreigners was like Disney Sea. Anyway, so for the topic of culture shock, I can't really think of anything that is outstanding right now. Oh, one thing though that I would say for Japan, is this counted as culture shock? Probably. But in Japan, the crowdedness level is hot. It was super crowded. So many people, probably because there's a bunch of locals and tourists. But like compared to Korea, it's crowded in Korea, but not that crowded. Compared to Toronto, it's more crowded in Korea. But in Japan, girl, it was like a battle. Like if you're in a station, there's no rest for you. you can't even get lost and turn around, girl. You need to move to the side in front of a pillar so the huge crowd can walk past you. It was super crowded in them stations, girl, and it's like a battle. Like sometimes you have to shuffle so I can make it to my sister, as there's like a huge crowd of people trying to get out of that station. So yeah, just so y'all know, you need to be aware of your space there, girl. Let the people past. And that is that for the topics of my experience in Japan and Korea. More lighthearted this time. I feel like when I was talking about the Korea one, I was a little more timid, a little more scared. Whatever. Now, let's get into the second part of the video, which is, and let's do this fast, okay? I'm just telling y'all short stories. So, the second part of the video, which is things you did not know about my trip. So, things that I didn't talk about within the daily vlogs. Day 3 vlog, that is when we went to Harajuku and Akihabara, apologies for the pronunciation, district, which is the anime district. So the story that I want to tell was about the anime stores. As you know, I don't remember if I mentioned us going to the store there or I vlogged us in the store, but we went to this popular store on TikTok which had a bunch of anime figures, I believe. But we went there and we were kind of shocked. We were kind of taken back. Like the stuff we see on TikTok was a portion of what we saw in the store, but a lot of the store we were not expecting, and that is the sus dolls there. Well, what I remember when we went there were 2 floors of that store with a bunch of anime figures. A lot of it was naked girl dolls or like female dolls that were like in compromising positions, whatever. And you know, obviously this is anime, so a lot of the dolls kind of look like kids. Yeah, so we're a little shit, like, oop, not us wandering into here. And the thing is, like, me and my sister were literally the only 2 girls there, as it was just a bunch of other dudes, and that was kind of awkward, embarrassing. So we just left on the 2nd floor. So we walked in there a bit, we were looking around like, oop, this isn't, maybe we aren't the target demographic. Walk straight back out. Just so you know, that store, I think it's called Ami or something. I don't remember. If you don't want to experience that, then don't go on the 2nd floor at least. You can go on the 1st floor to buy Naruto figures, whatever. But you know what? Just do you. Moving on to day 4. Now, day 4 is my hairstyling vlog, bleaching my hair vlog. As you can see, the condition of my hair. I don't think I take good care of my hair to maintain whatever color that was in the video. Like when I got home though, I did tone my hair, some beige Wellity toner color, I don't remember. And then I used purple shampoo, but the purple shampoo wasn't doing it for me. So I used blue shampoo, even though I'm probably not supposed to. It might be placebo effect, but I feel like the blue one works better than the purple one. What I did want to say was my stylist. I love my stylist. She was so fun. She was so nice. My stylist, her name is Canon. She's moving locations, so she's not going to be working at the Tokyo location anymore, as I know of today. Like I saw on her Instagram, she is going to the Netherlands location. So if you guys wanted to go to her, she's in Netherlands, not in Tokyo anymore. But otherwise, the other stylists, they'll be fine too. But I loved her. And that's that. Day 7 is the Team Labs and Pokemon Cafe vlog. Now, I'm not actually sure if it's this day because I literally cannot remember. But if I did the math right, it is this day. But there was a portion of it that I didn't vlog, which after the whole Pokemon Cafe, we chilled at our hotel. And then we went to Koreatown, which I didn't vlog at all and I didn't mention it at all. But we went to Koreatown, we just walked around a bit because Koreatown's literally like a good 10-minute walk away from our hotel. So we went to Koreatown, we didn't buy a single thing, but we did eat at a restaurant and my sister had soju again and she got drunk again. Like, does soju actually make you drunk like that? Like, honestly, I don't believe it. Like whatever, I only had 1 shot. But I don't think she drank the whole bottle this time. But either way, like, I don't believe it. Like, she's weird. Because if you remember when we went to Korea last time, if you watched those vlogs, when we went to the Run BTS cafe, we went to a restaurant before that was Run BTS also filmed in, and my sister drank soju there. And then we went to the Run BTS cafe. She literally was like taking a nap. This time around though, she was the same in where she was like slow at walking, but this time around she was like more of a goofy drunk. Like she was feeling more goofy this time around. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And she was like eating her chicken. She was spilling the crumbs everywhere. Like there was crumbs everywhere. And that's that for that story. Moving on. The next day though, she woke up and she was fine. Day 11, which is our Dotonbori vlog, where we ate a bunch of street food. It's a short story, but the story was I bent my ankle in front of this. It's so embarrassing. Like I can't even. Like we were just walking and my ankle bends, but I didn't fall down. It just bent. We just paused, and this dude was literally walking this way. I bend. He just stands there. He just stands there, and I just walk away. So embarrassing. He wasn't even like that close to me. Like, why would you just pause and stare at me? Just walk. Just keep walking. Anyways, sorry, is my face turning red? Day 14, which is us going to Jeju Air. As I told you guys, we had the problem in Jeju Air about how we went to this terminal. We were supposed to go to this terminal, and then my sister had an overweight limit, because since it was a small flight and our bags were like overweight, so she had to pay for it. And then I didn't vlog us when we arrived at Korea, going to our hotel. But essentially what we did was we arrived in Korea. It was still like the PMs, maybe 3 p.m. I don't remember. Maybe earlier than that a bit. I don't remember. But we got out. And then we ate some Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, we ate some Dunkin' Donuts. But we got the Kuromi mochi donut. Is that mochi? I don't know. And there was also my Melody donut. I don't really like the Kuromi. I'm not into mochi. I don't even know if it's mochi, but I didn't like it because it was like chewy, you know? So that was that. And then we just search on Neighbor Map how to get our hotel there, and we just take a train directly from the airport. Like, it was so easy. Like, literally we just had to walk down the hallway, and then there was a bunch of escalators, and we went down the escalators. Then we walked through this really longest hallway that got us to the train that literally goes directly to Myeongdong Station, so we didn't have to do any transfers. So that was so easy getting to that hotel. What a good time, especially since the hotel's at Myeongdong District, my favorite to shop at, since there's a bunch of BTS stuff there, because I love shopping at Myeongdong Station. There was also another station like literally 5 minutes away, maybe like the station right beside Myeongdong, that I saw on TikTok had like a bunch of old BTS DVDs too that I don't have yet. And I was like, why would I see that after I come back? And it's literally right beside the station that we're staying at. So when we go back to Korea again next year, I'm going to that station and seeing it. Next is stories about day 15, which was the soloish Hongdae Day and Gangnam Day. All I really want to say was, as you guys know, I took a bunch of pictures at the Don't Look Up thing. I honestly wish I took more because 6 out of the 12 photos that I printed out is me sitting down, and I actually kind of hate those poses now. I wish I never sat down in any of those pictures, and I wish I never chose to sat down pictures. Like, I had a bunch of pictures where I was standing too, and as I was editing the vlog, I'm like, oh my god, that picture actually looks okay. Like, why didn't I choose that picture? Because I wanted to fucking pick a sitting down picture, which was trash. But I don't know why I didn't take more. Like, why did I only take one for each color? Why didn't I take more? Like, nobody else was there. Like, anyways, that's all I had to say. So that was my regrets. And another thing I want to say was, I remember at the time we were going to Korea and they already announced a new Mang face reveal. I thought that the Mang plushies were already be selling when we would get to Korea, but they weren't. So there were none of those in Korea, which I wanted to buy, which is really unfortunate. But whatever, because then after when we came back from Korea, that's when I started seeing the tweets about how they're in the Line Friends stores now. So whatever. I can always get it next year if we go to Korea, because we didn't buy the tickets yet. Even though we do plan on going to Korea, I'm scared that plans may change and we end up not going to Korea and just Vietnam. Anyway, moving on to day 17, which was Myeongdong, but then my solo day to Hongdae. All I want to say was, because I talked about it in the vlog, but I decided to edit it out because I put my camera in like this plastic bag, so it was like super noisy. Basically, all I said was how the train was so crowded. When I got on, it wasn't crowded. It was crowded when I got on at Myeongdong Station. It wasn't crowded as in there wasn't a bunch of people standing, but all the seats were filled. So I stood by the part with the door. But then it got super crowded. It was just like crowded, and the whole time I'm praying like, I hope the doors that are next to me open and not the doors on the other side, so I have to shove everyone. And I feel like the door that was next to me was the one that opened. I don't remember, but if it was the doors on the other side and I had to shove everyone, I feel like I would have remembered that because it was so embarrassing. But I don't remember, so probably not. I remember a bunch of grannies, they literally shove you, they elbow you, they shove you, they grab your arm and shove you so they can walk to a seat in a crowded bus. I was really sick. I was like, oop. And that is that, y'all. I have no more stories to tell you from this trip. You know, when I'm editing this, I might have one, but at the end of the day, we have to let things go. What's lived is lived. We don't have to say anything anymore. Now, we have finally reached the end of this series, and I feel like I was looking at the viewfinder this whole time and not into the lens. So apologies. And also apologies, like my face is all red now because I keep scratching my nose. But we have reached the end, everyone. Thank you to everyone who watched this series. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. It was a fun time for me. Was it a fun time for you? I always have a fun time vlogging. You know what? Vlogging physically itself is like super awkward in public and whatever, and it's kind of hard because, you know, like I need stability in my hand, and also there's always like people's faces around, so I don't like want to catch their faces on the video or like them seeing me vlog and be like, hey, you don't fucking film me. So, you know, it's kind of all over the place. I'm sorry, y'all, but also there was times like I just did not want to vlog. Like I was holding stuff and I was tired, or I just didn't feel like vlogging, so it's not all there. So sorry, y'all. Sorry, y'all. I remember someone commented that they're motion sickness from my vlogging. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I don't have the confidence and the stability to vlog like that. With that said, thank you to everyone who watched. Also, thank you to everyone who commented. I love reading the comments, as you know. Sometimes I don't reply to all of them. Well, all the time I don't reply to all of them because sometimes, you know what, I just want to heart it and I don't really have much to say. But I love reading all the comments, and I love, you guys are always a fun time. It's always a fun time sharing your journey and having people who want to watch that journey sometimes. You know what I mean? They probably won't be watching this, but thank you to the people, to y'all who I met in Japan in Universal Studios and in Korea in Busan when we were going to the Skyline thing. Which, you know, I was shocked, like, how the hell am I meeting y'all in the other side of the world for 2 countries? Like, what the hell? Like, how are we both traveling at the same time? And anyways, that's all I want to say. So this is the end of another travel series. Will we have another one? I don't know. It's definitely not going to be the Vietnam one, and then watch me do the daily vlogs. But I have no plans to do a travel series for Vietnam and Korea next year. Sorry, y'all. So let's see what's in the future. Will Tina get a job? Let's see. Will Tina post more videos after this? We'll see. I will be posting a YesStyle video that I had to do. Sponsor one. So doing sponsored videos is always so embarrassing, especially when they ask to review it and then they send you comments about the video. Like, it's so embarrassing. But anyways, that's the video that's coming up next. Let's see if I get back into clothing hauls. I don't know. Like, right now I don't have the desire to film any clothing hauls right now. I'm sorry, y'all. Let's see if I get back to green screen. Does anybody even watch those anymore? Do I even want to make them? Because the thing is, you know, I don't even watch a bunch of TV shows and movies right now. So it's like, what would I even screen myself into, you know? And is this even the content that we want anymore? I don't know. But let's just see how my heart goes with this. Especially since it's time for me to get a damn job. I do want to do a video of all the BTS destinations that you can visit in Korea. Not now, like maybe that's like months down the line. maybe I'll post that when I do the Vietnam, Korea one vlog. Anyways, that's all I had to say if you were interested. So again, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I have to edit this now so I can post it tomorrow. So the editing might be really bad, but whatever. Thank you everyone so much for watching this whole series, and I'll see you guys in whatever my next video is. Oh, my YesStyle video. Bye.
This is more than a crash, more than a like, more than a lie. Baby, I'ma make you mine, and I ain't giving up. This is more than a crash, more than a like, more than a lie. Baby, I'ma make you mine, and I ain't giving up. Don't run away, don't run away from the truth, 'cause I'm not giving up on you. Don't run away, don't run away from the truth, 'cause I'm not giving up on you.